Good morning. Good to see you, Steve. Um, I'm have here Steve Hart, and Steve Hart is a very good friend of mine, and he is a life coach. And he's a speaker. He's awesome. He's so intelligent, have so much wisdom, and a very high in energy level. I really enjoy speaking to Steve. What I want us to do today, a few years back, I got introduced to the Enneagrams through a book group that I go to, and we studied the whole book. And that really helped me get to know more about myself. And but what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna tell you much about it. I'm gonna have Steve tell us about the Enneagrams, what it is, and how we can help ourselves through it. Hi, Steve.
Hey, I I can't think of anything more powerful to help people in their own self-discovery than the Enneagram. I stumbled across it. Now it's been almost 17 years ago, and it's still vibrant and alive in my life and in the people that I work with and coach. I use it all the time. So let's just define what this is a little bit, because some people have no idea what it is. Some
Yeah.
people I may have seen or have taken a personality assessment, and there are multiple ones out there that are available. And I used to teach other personality assessments, but when I stumbled across the Enneagram and started understanding how it worked and how powerful it was, I've really don't give much time to the other assessments. I
Right.
focus predominantly on the Enneagram. Now, Enneagram means it's Enneagram, and it means 9 points, because there are basically nine types in the Enneagram, 9 types of personality, and I'm going to share with you later about those. But that's what it's called. Where it came from? Well, they don't know where it came from, to be exact. Some people believe that it came from the Sufi Indians,
Mhm.
but they don't practice it as part of their belief system today. So it's somewhat mystical in the sense to where it came from. Now, the interesting thing is that that dates it back to almost 2,000 years ago, but yet it wasn't put into writing. It was only through verbal, philosophical, conversation until the last 50 to 100 years.
Mhm.
And now it is available in books and on the internet, and numerous videos on the Enneagram types and so forth that are out there. And in fact, I joined the association for the Enneagram, have attended to 2 of their conventions over the last 15 years, and have gotten an awful lot out of those conventions and met some remarkable people. And that's where I've kind of fine-tuned my own life and how I use it for myself, in my relationships, in my work, and then also in my life coaching. It's
Right.
become a very powerful tool.
Right.
It's all about patterns.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is everything in my philosophy in the world, everything in the world is created around patterns.
Mhm.
And the Enneagram has a pattern to it. In fact, if you see the Enneagram symbol, it has a distinct lines that are moving around the circle of the 9 type. But it's not just a graphic. It's actually energy in motion is what it is. And what I mean by that is that all these Enneagram types are connected to each other, and as we all are, we're all connected to each other.
That's true. I remember when we were going through the book and we're going through each type, and I'll say, "Oh my gosh, I'm like this." But then as we go on, I'll say, "No, no, no, that's too much different." And then the other one, then I'll go to the other one, then I'm like, "My gosh, I have everything from everybody."
Yeah, we're all influenced by all the types. That's true.
Right. But you
Some more than others.
right.
And as you raise your higher level of functioning and become more aware of who you are, you begin to see those traits in yourself, and you open yourself up to what we call the oneness of all things. I mean, so we do all share the Enneagram 9 types of the Enneagram. There's no question about that.
But you know what? If you hit your type, that's it. It's a knowing. You know it is you, good or bad.
Well, yes, it's true. Once you open yourself up and understand your type, then yes, it's true. But at first, I'll be honest, when I first got my first book on the Enneagram, and I took the assessment in the book, I typed myself wrong. I typed myself as a number 3, instead of the 8 that I am, and I'm going to explain that a little bit later on. But I partly did that because that's what I wanted to be.
Right.
I didn't want to be the 8 because the 8 was too close to home. I didn't want to have to admit to my own dark side, because Enneagram reveals both your light side and your dark side, the balance between of who we are. Now, my personal philosophy is that we adopted our Enneagram type when we came into this world and with this physical body.
Mm-hmm.
Some people believe that you choose or it's developed as you grow up as a child. I don't believe that. I think it's goes much deeper than that. So, and the other thing about the Enneagram is Enneagram does not change, meaning once you know that you are whatever type you are, you can't change to another type. What you do is you evolve into higher levels of functioning,
Right.
So you let go of a lot of the frustration and the misunderstanding of what is true, and come into a higher vibration, and you open yourself up to more love and peace and acceptance and willingness, and those things affect your perception.
Right.
And speaking of perception, I want to explain to people that the Enneagram is like putting on some glasses, and whatever pair of glasses you're wearing, that's your perception of how you see things. So each type of the Enneagram is how we perceive the world and the things around us.
Perfect.
You and I can look at the same event and perceive it differently because of our personality types.
Right. So each type has a different way of looking at things.
Right.
And this is what I like about it. And I find myself, the more evolved I became, the more enlightened I became, and the more I find myself in all the types. I find the connection. It doesn't matter no more, and it is okay to be this way, and it is okay to be that, and it's okay to look at it this way. So when you reach to certain level of energy or enlightenment, you really acknowledge everybody at where they are, and it is okay because we are on the same path in our own way.
Well, that's true. When I first came into Enneagram, I was in a new relationship, and with a lady, and so what it did for me is when I understood her type, it allowed me to let her be herself instead of trying to defend myself, what I believed, or try to change her.
Right.
So what I did was the Enneagram, when I said, okay, I'm an 8, she's a 7, here's what she's doing, here's her compulsions, just like I have my own compulsions.
Right.
And when you understand each other as to where you're coming from, you give each other breathing room. You open your heart up and say, oh, that's just the way she perceives it, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The whole object is to love and support one another for who we are. We're not trying to change each other. We're not trying to fix each other. We're really just trying to open up to our true self. And that's what the Enneagram is all about, because it does show you your dark side and your light side, as I said earlier. It's almost like a mirror. I mean, I had these representation of the glasses, but when you look in a mirror, and when you look in the mirror, either you like or don't like what you see,
right.
and you try to change it, whatever it is. And what we see is really just a reflection. It's not our true self. But the Enneagram goes a lot deeper. It goes beyond the mirror, beyond the looking glass, as Alice experienced, and it actually shows you. The Enneagram will show you parts about yourself that you don't see or you've not seen. Other people may have seen them about you,
right?
But you didn't see it until the Enneagram showed you. Oh, this is why I do this. This is why I feel compelled to withdraw the way I do when I'm under stress, or to be aggressive when I'm under stress. Different ones act out differently, you know.
Right, right. And I see that in myself. When I am under stress, I go straight to 9, you know, and I'm like, okay, I have to be there for a while till I figure it out, and then I'm up and going again, you know.
Well, you just
that you want to be.
Those who know the Enneagram, you just gave yourself away. So you're a 3 type.
Oh, I'm the 3 that you want to be.
And the 3s go down to when they're under stress. They go to the 9 you just described, and they lose themselves. So in other words, you get lost when you're under stress. You lose your balance. You can't figure out what's the next step to take, and it can be very scary. But you do that for a reason, Yola, and that's the whole point. The point is that you go into that place to connect with your 3 type and bring yourself back into balance.
That's true, and that's
good. I do the same thing, except I do it differently. The 8 goes down into the 5, and we have a tendency as a 5 type is to want to read and consume information and withdraw from socially, thinking that if we just find the answer to our problem, we'll be okay. Well, that's true, not true. So when I'm in that state of being, I get to say to myself, how long do I want to stay here? And what I really need is I need to be out and connecting myself and helping other people, because as an 8 type, that's what we do. We become helper givers, and we go over to the 2. And so all right, let's.
You know what? And when we first start talking, and I know you were an 8, I couldn't believe that you were an 8, because my image of 8 is way totally different. And this is why I say you.
Yeah, well, you didn't know me in my earlier years.
This is why I say you are way evolved for an 8, because if I see an 8, I run away. I don't want to be around them.
8s can be. That's why I didn't want to be an 8. 8s can be monsters. They can be very controlling. They're known to be challengers. That's what they do. They challenge people, and they're all about strength. Let's go through the 9 types.
Let's do that. Yes.
So we'll start at the 1. And the 1 are the idealist or the perfectionist. They're interested about bringing justice to the world and bringing things in line with the truth. And so the value that the 1s bring to us is that they do show us in their higher functioning that the world is a perfect world. But they have to see that, as we all have to see that about the world. The second one is, number 2, is the helper giver. That's what we call them. They're the people that come from the heart. They're all about giving service to mankind. They have a gift of being able to see people's needs and immediately being able to know what to do to provide the need and take care of them. And they're great at being teachers, nurses. Those are the type of the 2 type. The 3, which is your type, are called the achievers. Your type is all about leading the world into being successful, being winners. The 3 type are the athletic, all-American image that we all aspire to, especially in sports. They can be very competitive, and they're very concerned about how they look, just as you are, and good for you. And at the same time,
I used to be consumed with that a lot.
That's a good example. In the lower functioning, it's so possessive, it controls you and actually inhibits you from being the true person that you are.
It's true. And I used to, and I recognize that, and I'm not like that anymore, thank God, So now I know I really evolved way big, and I still have way ahead of me, but it used to consume me, the way I look, the way I dress, the way I just come out to the world. And now I don't have to. It's my energy exude, and all of us, we get to that point. our energy exude, and people not looking at the way we look or what we have and what we own. They're looking at our energy and how we come out to the world.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, everybody has some degree of pride and wanting to look good, but the 3 type, it is an issue, and you have done well to evolve into a higher level of consciousness where it does not control you or do damage in your life. So your perception has changed a little bit, which is a much healthier way of looking at things.
Right, right.
Let's go to the 4. The 4 are the artists or the romantics. They're the ones that see themselves as being unique, and they don't fit into the world, and always have felt that way. And they are unique. They are very artistic in the way they express themselves. Usually they have some form of art that they exercise. And the artists and romantics are here again coming from a place of love. And I enjoy the 4 type because of their artistic ability, and they're all about being authentic. They authenticity. They want people to be authentic, and they're great listeners. They understand because they feel as though they are outcast, so they are great at listening to people who are feeling the same way.
Mm-hmm.
The 5 are the observers. They are the ones who have the ability to see the big picture, everything. They know they can see this, and this, and put it all together. And yet, at the same time, they live their lives in a segregation. In other words, their social life is interesting. They have their friends at work, their friends at family, relatives, and they have their friends at church or spiritual group, and their friends in their sports or whatever it is that they're involved in, their hobbies. They separate them, but all those friends don't know each other. It's kind of interesting how they do that. But it's the way they think, the way they perceive things. So they segregate things so they can put it all together in the big picture. But they're about observing the world as it is. So the 5s are known, in my opinion, I call them walking on encyclopedias, because they're about consuming information.
I love, yeah.
And they love to share with their knowledge. And for me, it's beneficial to me, because when I ask a question, I know I'm going to get not only my question answered, I'm going to get more information
right.
than I asked for. At the same time, I enjoy that. Now, other people do not. You know, if you get a person who, when you ask them a question, they go on and on and on and on and on, and they keep giving facts and figures and all that stuff, and you know how, well, those are usually five types.
You just know they are 5.
Yeah.
And say stop right there. No more.
Yeah. Like I say, to me, I don't get bored with it, but other people do, and I understand that. The next number is the 6, which has a dual role. They are loyal and skeptics at the same time. So they're very loyal people and skeptical at the same time. So we call them the loyal skeptic. And the 6 are about being loyal to the group or loyal to the community in the whole, and yet being very skeptical about what's going on. So their main concern is about safety. And usually the 6s end up in a job where they're either a policeman or a military, about creating a safe place for us all to live in. And I love their loyalty, because it's amazing how far they will go and what they will do to be loyal to people. And so
I identify with that, because I do go to 6.
Right. The 3 goes over to the 6 when you're secure. And what you're all about when you do that is you take on the 6's light side, which is the loyalty and bringing leadership and bringing it all together so that we can function as a community in a safe way. The 7's type is called the epicure or the adventurers. They're all about having new experiences. They're the ones that are sometimes activity directors, because they want everybody to have a good time. They're all about, oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. They love to be able to enjoy life, and they are also known as enthusiasts. They have a great way of getting us everybody enthusiastic about whatever it is that they see as important. It's a gift that they have, and so that's the 7 types, and they're very spontaneous too, which I appreciate about the 7 types. When I'm around, as an 8, I'm not as spontaneous as I'd like to be, but I get around a 7, and they can make life more fun.
Right.
The 8 is my type, which is, I said earlier, the challengers or the producers or the boss, or the protectors. We're all about being strong.
Right.
We want to hold our strength. We want to give our strength to everybody. And when we find someone who doesn't have strength, we want them to make them stronger. So we reach out and pull them up, and try to empower other people.
Maybe when you are healthy, but when you're not healthy, what happened? You want
we do not appreciate weakness. We scorn and put down people and attack people. That's where we become the challengers, and we say, well, you should be doing this, and why are you doing that, and what's wrong with you? And we can become very ugly and attack people. But the truth of it is, the 8 type really should come from a place of love, because when we're secure, we become the helper giver. We go over to the 2, and we take on their light side, and that's where I win. That's where I want to be. That's why I become a life coach, because my object is to help people.
Yeah.
At the same time, I am challenging people, but in my life coaching, I've learned, as you do, to just ask questions and to believe that people have within them the knowledge of what it is they're looking for. So I don't challenge people like I used to. I used to, not like I.
Like you don't challenge them to that.
Well, I still do. I'm still in but I'm still evolving.
But in a healthy way. You do it in a healthy way, though.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
It's hard when it is not healthy way, because the other person feel way too insecure, and 8 seem to want to overpower.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
And really put the other person at no ease at all,
Yeah, right. The 9s, they're the peacemakers. They're the mediators. They're the ones all about bringing unity and harmony into the world. And so in my opinion, they're the ones that really have the message for us in today's world, because we need to really let go of our separation and to see our unity, and that's what the 9s do. Now, the problem is the 9s, being a mediator, they see both sides of the coin. And so they see this side, they see that side, and they try to bring peace in the conflicts. But if they become insecure within themselves, they get stuck in the valley of decision and become couch potatoes and don't make a decision. They just stay there. So when they're insecure, they question themselves a lot. But when they're secure, they go to the 3, which is your type, and they become achievers, and they move beyond their fear, and see the value in bringing this love and harmony into the world. Mm-hmm. So there's your 9 types, and then there are others more. That's just the basic introduction to the 9 types. But there's, as we said earlier, they're all connected, and so. But that's a good start.
Yeah. I thought we will introduce the Enneagram to people who really interested, and maybe we will do another video about the relationship between those 9 type. Because right. That's interesting. Like for me, I'm a 3, and I dated a few years back this man that was a 9, and I'm too. I don't know how to put it the wrong way. It just bothered me that he just want to be so peaceful to the point he will do anything that I want, and it's like, no, I don't like that. I want somebody that's gonna challenge me.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And so I didn't like that at all.
Well, let me just say this. People ask me when I do my workshops, is there a type that I'm more compatible with than another type? Well, yes and no. In your case, you just gave a description about what you wanted at that time. But that may change because that has to do with your evolution of your consciousness
Right.
function. In my opinion, all the types are compatible. It depends on what level of function you're at. If you're lower functioning, you're not going to want to be compatible with someone who's a higher functioning or vice versa.
Right.
So in your case, you were describing what you wanted at the time. You wanted to be challenged. And the 9 type is not the one that does the challenging. They're easygoing and want to go along and be in harmony with everybody. So that's their basically personality. But when a 9 becomes in a higher level of functioning, they will stand for what they believe is being true. They will take a stand.
Right.
And they're not as easy to flip-flop around in the lower functioning. So I guess what I'm trying to say to you is, I don't care if it's a 9 or 5 or 1 or 2.
Doesn't matter.
They're all going to be at different levels of functioning. So what's important is for you to know what your type is and to know where you are in the levels of functioning. And there's actually a chart that describes the different levels of functioning for each type. And we don't have time to go into that today, but the point I'm making is that it's important for people to do their own self-discovery and use the Enneagram to understand where they're at, where they came from, and where they're going. Right. It's like a map. Now, it's not like you have to conform to it. It's more like the Enneagram is showing you where you are at this now moment.
Right.
And so that's what I love about it is that, and that's how I use it in my coaching with people. I help them understand where they're going.
Right. And when I first started taking the Enneagrams, I really had no clue what is going on. And I don't think I was at that time at the level where I am now. It doesn't mean that I am way up here, but I'm way evolved than where I was,
No, me too.
And when we went through it, I cried at the end of the book because I felt what a relief. There is no judgment no more. It was a relief. It really freed me when I got to that point where I could see all of us down here at that level, very low, functioning, very, I don't know what is the word to use, not functioning, let's say not functioning at a lower level of energy. And when we step up to that level, how difference it make in our life. It bring tears to my life because it really make me see that all of us, we can evolve.
Well, you and I have talked, and we both share the same belief system, that we're all part of the collective of all consciousness, of all people. Right. And we are all moving up. Even the people in the lower levels,
right.
Ones at the higher levels are bringing them up with them because we're all one. You cannot separate us any further than what we currently are. And so collectively, everybody on the face of the earth is moving to a higher level of consciousness. Now, you might say, what are you talking about? I mean, the things are absurd out there. Look at the things that are going on that have never happened before. Well, it's the reason that's happening is to show us the absurdity so that we can kind of go like, what's going on? How can we put up with this? Well, I call it contrast. It's the contrast of the light and the dark, and we have to decide, okay, what is it we really want? And mankind is coming to a higher level of functioning where we're all beginning to wake up as to who we are and what it is we really want. But we still have some darkness to work through, and it's all within us, and that's where the work really needs to be done. As you and I and all the people who are listening to this video use this information to raise our consciousness and to open our hearts up to love and to joy and peace and understanding and happiness, as we do those things and let go of all the darkness and things we're holding on to that we don't realize that we're holding on to, this transformation will take place in the world around us.
The whole world will bring the ones that are struggling down here up with us too.
We are. We really, really are. Just like right now, we're having this conversation, and the words that we're saying and the thought patterns that we're creating is a vibration that's affecting the whole world around us in this now moment. And it will continue every time somebody watches one of the videos. That's
true. That's true. And, I want everybody that's going to be watching this video to look for the next video, because I would like us to talk about the relationships, because really what the people struggle with is a relationship. If it is a love relationship, a mother-daughter relationship, sister-sister relationship, work
Work, your
relationship,
boss,
a
your
boss,
teacher,
everything, any kind of
your neighbor.
relationship. And
Yeah, if we knew if if we knew what each Enneagram type, once you understood the Enneagram and you know what your type is, and you learned about the other types, it'd be nice if we all had a little symbol in our head that had the number that
right,
tells us what
right.
we were.
It
You say,
will.
oh, you're a 3. That's why you're doing
This
that.
is why you are so. I know. This is why at work they wanna smack me sometime because
Well,
hey, this
oddly
is
enough,
the way it
when we go to the Enneagram the conventions, they do put numbers on your tag so that when you meet someone, you know who they are. And there's about 300 or 400 people there. You know, it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
Oh,
So,
that's nice. Maybe one day I'll do that too because
yeah,
I really
yeah,
find it very fascinating.
yeah, right.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, well, we will do this. We will continue on, and we'll talk more when the opportunity comes for us to help your listeners to understand who they are and how they can use Enneagram. It's a very, very powerful tool.
It is. And, people can find you. This is a Steve Hart. Where could they, will you tell
Yeah,
me?
my Enneagram website is called EnneagramSecrets.com. So it's ENNEAGRAM, and then secrets, SC, or S, yes, SC.
S-E,
I'll
S-E-C.
know how to spell it right. Yeah. SECRETS, secrets. It's all one word, EnneagramSecrets.com. Anyway, on that page, you'll find my picture at the bottom. You'll see me there, and I'm talking about the Enneagram. You'll see a video of one of my teachers sharing. But here's what I do. I have to be honest with your listeners. I have a link at the bottom of that page that takes you to a blog. And the blog here again has some more information, another video for you to watch. And down at the very bottom of the blog is a link to take the assessment that I offer. And the reason I do that is because I don't want everybody doing it because it's free. I do it for free. And I'd be inundated by all these requests. So your listeners have the opportunity to come and take the assessment that I have on my website, and I'll be happy to help them type themselves, in other words, figure out who they are. And of course, I will communicate that with you, and then people can begin to start going down the path and using the Enneagram as part of their self-discovery. Because years ago, I got this message, and the message was, when you know who you are, everything changes.
That's true.
So it's all about coming to understand who we are. Instead, we try to understand the world. Well, you cannot understand the world out here. You can only understand yourself, and when you do, then you understand what's going on out here.
Really, when we try to understand everything around us, we just block in the energy. And this is what I say: let it go. Focus on you. Whatever bring you that darkness and that negativity, just get rid of it. It doesn't matter. It is you. It's all about us.
True.
So you see, I'm a tree, and it is all about me.
Well, and I mean that's not an egotistical way. It's about, when we say about us, we're talking about the divine within us, the higher self, because we are spiritual beings having this human experience. That's how I perceive it. So when I talk about knowing who we are, I'm talking about that spiritual being. We all have egos, and we all are learning how to let go of the egos, because the ego attaches itself to this world, these things out here, and attaches itself to fear.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm sure you talk about in your coaching, is to help people to let go of their fears. Right. And so it's about letting go of the ego. The ego has a purpose. It's there to protect us. And so it's not like it's evil. It's just it doesn't know itself. It does not know the higher self within us. So we sort of have this dual thing going on. We have our ego, and then we have our higher self. We have our spiritual being. So that's why there's so much confusion. That's why it's called lifting the veil, because you lift the veil to see your true self.
The true self. And it is the most powerful experience you can really experience in your life. It's amazing,
True.
Well, Steve, thank you. This is awesome. And I'm looking for more videos with you,
Cool.
It will be really interesting. And I hope people will share and go to your website and use what you have, and
Yeah,
coach
yeah,
with you if they need to,
yeah, yeah.
whatever it is. It's great.
Thank you for asking me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for making the time for me too. And we will talk later.
Blessings.
Blessings to you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.